Hi, Roy here, and welcome back to my channel, Roy Reads Anything. I come before you today to make an announcement of a great event on booktube in January, and that's called Haggard in January. So it's a month celebrating and exploring the works of Henry Rider Haggard. Yes, H. Rider Haggard, the author who basically created the Lost World genre of adventure fiction and did lots else besides. The event, created for us by Randy Ray, the literate Texan, with a bunch of co-hosts, and that includes myself and, let's see, James, Quaint and Curious Volumes, Joe's Book and Movie Corner, Greg, another bibliophile reads, Mark, Book Time with Elvis, and Michael K Vaughan. So we're here to announce it to you, and we'll be making some content as well when the time comes. So who is this Rider Haggard fellow? So from the 1880s onwards, he wrote a bunch of novels, including some famous ones. She and King Solomon's Mines are probably the best known, and they were absolute bestsellers. So this is like the opposite of my neglected bestsellers event. You know, this is like an unneglected bestseller who's always been in print ever since, adapted loads of times. Those books, She, King Solomon's Mines, they've got sequels, and there's even a crossover between the two, which is great. It's like a Haggard verse, really. Those sort of mystically tinged African adventures are what he's best known for. Exploration, supernatural overtones, that sort of thing. They're his hallmark. But he's written lots of standalones as well, covering different genres. So there's lots to get into. He's been described as being a barometer for his age. There's a view that he's basically an author of imperialist propaganda for the British Empire. But also that there's a more complex thing going on, that he subverts all of that he's got interesting insights that emerge from his work to do with race and place and nationhood. We'll see. I think we need to read for ourselves. I have read some of him. I've read King Solomon's Mines, come back to that. She I read fairly recently. I got a little bit bogged down in the sequel, probably because I was reading it in little chunks. I think it would be better to blast on through. Also read his Cleopatra novel, that was really good. So I find him really interesting, and also, apart from anything else, he's a great storyteller. Influential as well as being a massive seller. He's influenced lots of other writers, including, those of us who like things like science fiction, sword and sorcery. There's lots to tie into there with work he produced that is still resonates today. So, late Victorian relic, author still worth reading? I definitely think the latter. Anyway, the idea of the event is to raise the profile of H. Rider Haggard and to hopefully inspire some of you to read some of his books. There are prompts for those who like prompts, but you don't have to go with any of these. They're there if you want them. One is to read a classic Haggard African adventure novel. So King Solomon's Mines would be one of those, and in fact that's going to be a sort of read along for the event. So I suppose as his most famous book, I think this was his breakthrough novel. Allegedly written in 6 weeks, possibly for a bet. That's a good one to go with, but because lots of people will have read it already, there'll be another one as well, another read along to come. So the first prompt is a classic Haggard African adventure. The second one, Haggard playing in different genres. Well, I'm glad that's come about, because a while ago from a charity shop I bought this, Beatrice. So his books get called romances in that sense of stories where the marvellous things happen and they're like adventures and quests and things like that. But this book, Beatrice, apparently it's a romance in the other sense of a love story. Yes, Haggard does romance. So looking forward to that. I definitely will get through to that one. Third prompt, works by other writers inspired by Haggard. Now there's some really good suggestions on Greg's video that I'll try and remember to link to. I'm thinking of reading, in fact rereading, a Tarzan book, Tarzan and the Jewels of Opar, because not only was Burroughs, Edgar Rice Burroughs, influenced by Haggard in a general way, and there's lots of Lost World type of plots in his books, but the whole Opar setup, as I remember it, is very, very reminiscent of She, and I'd like to revisit it as well. So there we go, a Neil Adams cover of Tarzan loping away from us. Okay, and the fourth prompt. Any kind of non-fiction related to Haggard and his life, including biographies. I'd like nothing better than to read a biography. I'm not sure I'll have the time. I have got one, not where I'm sitting now, but I'll stick a picture up. That could happen, but it's also possible that I will read, having sort of clumsily talked of the idea of literary romances. I was looking at an article called The Late Victorian Romance Revival by Anna Vaninskaya, and that looks very interesting. It's not just about Haggard, it's about other authors such as Arthur Conan Doyle, H.G. Wells, Robert Louis Stevenson. So, you know, how they all fitted together, what this sort of, what looked like a turn away from realism in fiction, what was that all about? So get to that biography if I can. Yes, and I will read King Solomon's Mines. That is the main book I will read, except I will read it on the Kindle so as not to damage this rather fragile sixpenny novel edition I've got. For future article, I'm going to do a Mr. Roy Investigates kind of video about sixpenny novels at some point. Anyway, yes, King Solomon's Mines, that's the one I'll be reading, technically rereading. We read it at school in the first year of big school when I was like 11. So that's like, in 1973 we read it. I can't remember much about it, except at first it seemed pretty dull, and then we got into it as the story got going. So those are the prompts. If you want prompts, no consideration of Rider Haggard would be complete without looking at the jokes about his name, and there were a number of these. Yes, jokes about Haggard's name. So to start with the best of all, let's hear from Dr. Jennie with her dad's joke.
This was my dad's joke that he told us when we were very young and we didn't understand it. I can't remember it. I've blanked.
Why was Rider... All these jokes begin, because it's like a subgenre of Victorian Edwardian jokes.
Why was Rider Haggard? I don't know. Why was Rider Haggard? Because he gave his vest to Tilly.
Okay.
When you're 8.
Yeah.
And you've never heard of Vesta Tilly.
I think the good folks on the other side of the telephone might not have heard of Vesta Tilly, music hall performer.
On the other side of the telephone?
Yeah, that's where people watch this.
Oh, I see. Yeah. She was a musical. She was a cross-dressing music hall performer.
Yeah.
Who I believe sang things like...
Burlington Bertie.
Burlington Bertie.
Oh, yeah.
And Burlington Bertie, I rise at 10:30. They saunter along like a toff.
All the others I've found, the Why Was Rider Haggard?
Why was Rider
The
Haggard?
answer is another author. And these are largely of my neglected type. Okay, so very, very frequently you see, I say, why was Rider Haggard?
Why was Rider Haggard?
Because he had to Marie Corelli.
Oh, I say, sir. That's a corker.
But others, because he let Rose Terry cook.
What?
Because he loved Hannah More. Because he thought Mona cared. And my favourite, why was Rider Haggard?
I don't know, sir. Why was Rider Haggard?
Because his school days were Hall Cane. All cane, you see. Cane. Like the corporal punishment.
Yes,
Cane.
yes.
And Hall Cane.
Don't belabour it
With the cane. Cane. Okay, so
they're funny because they're true.
Oh dear. Thinking of the poor guy, he probably had all that at school. And then it's like, for the rest of his life, when he's getting his press cuttings in. What do they think of my latest masterpiece with its theosophist overtones? Why was Rider Haggard? Right, so back in January to read those fabulous books. There's lots of great recommendations on all the other hosts, so do check them out, and I'll be back soon with something else.
And more Rider Haggard jokes.
No, those I found. That's all. Every single one
Is that well dry?
That's a barrel we have scraped.
Is it? Oh, say that now.
If anyone can make one up, that'd be great.